Welcome to Road Adventures of Cycling Men of Leisure. As usual, I am Adam, and I am happy to be joined with my good friend back in Central Time, Mr. Michael Sharp.
How we doing, Adam?
I'm doing good. Doing good. We are back from our trip. We went to Podfest 2025,
All right, yes, we did.
we went to all kinds of places. Orlando. What'd you think? Had a good time?
Had a good time. Yes, had a great time. Always a good time hanging out with you. Got some golf swings in, ate some good food, had some incredible drinks. Yeah, a lot of fun. And I think in the future show, maybe the next episode or two, I'd like to spend a little time talking about the drinks because we had some good ones.
No, that sounds good. We'll
Yeah.
definitely do that. You almost ended up in the emergency room fighting with an escalator.
I don't recall that.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll just move forward then.
More to come on that later.
More to come. Let's see here.
One thing I did want to do
Yeah.
is our friend Armando came and visited us.
Yes, that was wonderful. Armando gets a lot of highlighted mentions on the show. He's not only a team member of Cycling Men of Leisure, definitely a great friend. We met Armando riding a 9-hour bus across the state of Georgia, and a friendship has developed
3 years ago or so. But
yeah.
One thing I'd like to do is I'd like to do a big shout out to Armando, because not only did he drive over, had dinner with us in Orlando, but he also gave me a very special gift. And if you look right back here, see the camera right there?
I do.
With the Mickey thing?
Yes.
He gave me an old camera that he had, and this apparently, I believe he said, was his the first camera he bought with his first professional check.
That's awesome.
I think when he was working at Glidden or somewhere like that. But anyway, I just wanted to give him a shout out. It means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. I added it to my collection, and it was awesome. So thank you.
It was not only great to see him, but with his history of his career of Disney and my passion and your enjoyment as well, to listen to some of his stories and things that you normally don't get to hear, and so that's really cool to hear and hang out with him. So Armando, thank you so much. Brought us a little gift as well, so that was nice. So didn't have to do that. We gave him a hat, so now he won't burn the top of his head. So
wow.
But on the last show, we talked about meeting Tina and Ted Fry.
Yes, on the golf course.
And they actually wrote us. Our leisure community took a second to write us. On the last show, we had the FBI, or Disney security. You called FBI, and then all of a sudden the door knocked.
What I said is, I forget exactly the context, but I said something about the FBI knocking on the door, and literally 2 seconds later, and you can't hear it very well. It's in the podcast. You can't hear it very well, but 2 seconds later, there's it's like, oh, well, the FBI's here. It wasn't the FBI, but it was just funny timing. Who was it?
It was Disney security, and they were just checking because we had, there's a lot of equipment in the room, and so we had the do not disturb on the door. And because of that, they needed to make an observation. Well, Tina wrote me, and she said, ever since the unfortunate 2017 Vegas, where the gentleman was storing lots of ammunition in his room, that ever since then they're doing, inspection and visual checks to make sure that Disney doesn't end up in the same kind of position. So, Tina, thanks for taking the time to write us. Really appreciate it. So,
although he was completely he walked in and it was he immediately stopped because, we had nothing dangerous there, but we had literally turned the living room into a recording studio, and we had lights and all that. And we were in the middle of recording, and he was like, oh, yeah.
We should, we kind of blew that. We should have said, would you like to sit down?
I did say, come on in. We're recording a podcast. And he's like, oh, I'm good. So
he's like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah. But, this looks.
Let's see here. Oh, this was an interesting thing. I'm kind of jumping around. I feel bad. But if you've ever stayed in the Orlando airport at a hotel, It is the World of Hyatt Airport.
Very nice hotel.
On the fourth floor or the lobby floor is a bar, and it's
Mm-hmm.
got lots of TVs. And you and I were watching the national
And
championship.
that let me say that bar is open to anybody. You
True.
don't. It's not just for the hotel. You can. There's actually a separate escalator. You can go right up there to the top and partake. So
This is true. Gentleman somehow makes his way there. First thing is we see this poor gentleman. He has a bunch of clothes in a bag, a plastic bag, and it reminded me of like someone who had either been sick or maybe had some sort of incontinence issue.
just got released out of jail is what I was thinking.
That's and funny you say that because he made a phone call and we overheard the following statement.
This is hilarious.
I can't go back. I have a warrant that starts in Texas tomorrow. So we definitely had a good kick out of that, good laugh out of that, and then we thought it's time to go. So we had to be up at 4 a.m. anyway, which came super early. So
Well,
usually
we had a lot of incidences that happened that were just quite funny. You got me in the middle of, I'm quite sure, a drug deal that was going down in the parking lot of a restaurant.
yes, it was.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Yeah.
Yes.
We walk over to our car and there's some people hanging out in a car and there was a drug deal. And yeah. And
No
you just
question.
took your own time about getting out of there. It's like, well, let's just go before
I had
they
to get the
think
navigation right. I
well,
had to make sure
we could have
everything was
got the
good.
navigation in the next parking lot over. I mean, these two guys are walking out. They're going to think we're, undercover or something, and it would get bad. But, hey, whatever. You do what you want to in the parking lot. Just don't get us involved. We got out of there in good shape. But then let's talk about Adam trying to steal a car.
Well, I didn't try to steal a car.
All I know is the car is opened. You go over there. The alarm starts going off.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looked a little fishy to me.
So I learned something that I guess I'm just sort of surprised at, but I think you and I figured out what happened. So
Yes.
I consider myself good Samaritan. I like to be a good person, do the right thing. We were in the Disney Springs parking garage and we went by a white minivan and the tailgate was open. And I said, man, should I shut that? I mean,
Because
I
all
know
their
what
luggage is sitting right out there. Anybody could have came along and grabbed luggage and baby strollers and everything.
I said, should I shut that? And you said, yeah. I said, yeah, I should. And so I just went over to the tailgate and I shut it and the alarm. And so at first we were like, well, that's really weird. Why would the alarm go off? But what we think happened is the guest probably gathered their backpack or their children. Hopefully there was no kids in that car.
I didn't look, but maybe we should have.
We think they gathered everything, got their family, pushed lock on the key fob, which then activated the security system or factory alarm. And when I shut the tailgate, it was like, whoa, what hit me? What?
Yeah.
Something's trying to get in here. And so we kind of hightailed it out of there. And after thinking, here we were trying to do something nice that I was waiting for someone to go, you're coming with us.
Sir.
So no, I definitely learned something. I didn't expect that. So
Well, we don't know that that's a real thing, but that's the best we could come up with. So
yeah, no, I completely made it up for sure. But what about your doing a little wiring and stucco in the airport?
Oh my gosh, yeah. As I think I talked a little bit on the last podcast a little bit. I had a little time problem getting there because I've got in the last 2 months I'm flying to Orlando 3 times. Once was with the family, once with you, and then I've got a business trip. And it all just happens to be Orlando. I looked at the wrong ticket, and guess what? I got the wrong one. I pulled the one that's occurring in a week. Time is off an hour, so I wound up being an hour late. Had to fly standby, but then I got trapped in the Atlanta airport. So it wasn't a lot of fun. I felt like I was in that movie Terminal with Tom Hanks. I'm stuck here. I can't get out. That's the only thing that kept going through my mind. It's like, wow. And then, of course, I was in Terminal T, which we all know is like, out on the fringes of the airport, the newest terminal. Parts of it are still under construction. I'm thinking, I could do a little masonry work, but Yeah, I'm really not qualified to do that. But so
Well, I'm glad that you were able
thanks for
to.
bringing that up again. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Listen, it's my job. I mean, I'm here to try to help us both. So,
I don't know how
what
that's going to
about?
help me, but thank you. Yeah.
I mean, listen. If you do a little stucco and wiring, you could help out the people of Atlanta. So,
Yeah, well, yeah. Stucco and wiring. Wiring has to do with electricity, which I know nothing about other than you don't stick your fingers in plugins and things. So if I did the wiring, I'd probably burn down Terminal T. So they really don't want me doing that.
we do both have to buy flights to Atlanta for Big Bragg. We could have got a discount. You could have
Oh, so
said,
what you're saying is I could have done some kind of exchange.
yeah,
I stucco and decorate this wall for you, and you cut 20% off my flight.
and my flight.
Well, they'll probably, once they see my work, add 20% to both the flights. But well, we had to redo all of that because it was garbage. So,
That's funny. That's
yeah.
funny. We got some results of the hot dog controversy.
Are we still talking about the hot dog thing? Everybody knows I'm right. Let's just move on. Isn't it time for I don't know, listener spotlight or something?
Don't worry, guys. I've got the button over here. But pretty soon you're about to have a button. So,
Yeah. Watch
but
out.
ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you for those of you who took a little time out of your day to go to social media. We had our team member and 1.6 listener Ed who wrote us, who said when in Detroit, he does a Detroit style, which is Coney style, extra onions and extra chili. When he is in Chicago, he definitely does no ketchup. But when at home, smother that baby in ketchup. And so,
Now, what do you do when in Orlando?
well, if it's a
I wasn't in
Portillo's,
Detroit or Chicago.
if it's a Portillo's, he's gone to a Chicago style hot dog place. So,
Well, if it was a Chicago style hot dog place, why did they even have ketchup? Why was that even an option?
because they know that some people are fussy.
Let's okay. What's the
But,
other side of the result?
well, Melanie, our team member from the west side of the United States, has decided that she's with you. She would like ketchup on it. But there were others who said no ketchup. But overall,
Yeah, I noticed your parents were not in my not on my team either, were they?
no, because you were our dinner conversation tonight.
Well, I'm glad I could be a dinner conversation for you and your parents. Can you believe that Michael guy puts ketchup on his Chicago dogs?
Well, actually, we talked about a few things. We talked about your escalator incident, and we'll get to that. We talked about the numerous people who probably thought you and I were batting on the same team, even though we have wives.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We talked about the Portillo's Chicago style incident, and my father wanted to know why you didn't get an Italian beef. And Lauren and
Because
my
it was
mother
a hot dog place.
and Lauren and my mother stuck up for you and said they were to get the hot dogs. My dad and I were
Thank
both
you.
Italian beef, so it was
Well,
50-50.
I had never eaten here before. You told me let's go eat at the hot dog place, Portillo's. I'm just like, oh, what's that? And he goes, it's a hot dog place. Okay, I go in there expecting to buy, and then they're like, why didn't you buy the hot beef?
I
Because it's a
believe I
hot dog
clearly said the
place.
Chicago style hot dog.
Well, okay.
It's like New York pizza. But
Here's the problem. That's like saying barbecue. Let's go have some barbecue in South Carolina versus let's go have some barbecue in Texas versus let's go have barbecue in Kansas City. It's not the same thing. It depends on where you are at in the country.
I will give you 100% credit. When we were in Iowa, we were going through one of these towns, and the lady said, "Oh, we've got the best barbecue." And I'll never forget, you looked up at her kind of slowly, very, very matter of fact, and you said, "You sure you want to say that? I'm from Kansas City." And she said, "Well, it may not be good as that."
Well, it was this little podunk place. Not that that couldn't have great barbecue, but she came out with so much confidence. It was like, yeah, we got the best barbecue. It's like,
That's right.
maybe the best barbecue in this town, maybe the best barbecue in this county, maybe even the best barbecue in the state, but you're treading on thin ice when you start talking larger than that. But
Well, the other thing I would love to talk about is definitely jumping around here, but strange things you've seen people fly with. You and I.
Uh,
So our flights were very early coming home. Both of us had pretty demanding schedules for Tuesday, and we wanted to make sure that if we missed our first flight for some reason, that we had all day to try to
wasn't
get
gonna
home.
happen.
And so we took we were in Sky Priority at 5 a.m. And thankfully no travel issues. When we were there, we looked up and there's a gentleman with a stepladder.
There is a 3-foot step ladder. It's got the little tag on it with his name in Sky Priority, checking this in. I don't.
I
That blew my mind. I'm just like, I want to know the backstory. What? What were you out? And it's like,
Hey,
I
I need a
think the
stepladder and I'm
alarm
bored.
system in the hotel needs a new battery. I'm just gonna run out call up Lyft, run out, grab a step ladder, and then we need one at home anyway. So I'll just get that and we'll take it home. It's like,
Well, I couldn't help myself. I looked up the airport code and he was going to San Jose, California. And so we were obviously in Orlando. And I thought to myself, that is one well traveled step ladder. So
maybe there's a stepladder shortage in San Jose. It was just so weird because I'm just thinking, number one, how I've been on vacation a lot. Never have I ever well, you know what? I need a stepladder. And if I did need a stepladder, like in my hotel or something, I would have went down and talked to the people at the front desk and probably borrowed one. But then to drag it home, I'm just thinking, you know what? If there's for some reason I really, 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 really need a stepladder, I will go buy the $25 stepladder at Walmart. And then when I am done, I will regift it to somebody before I leave. I'm not. But
the funny part about that is you and I had golf club, cases with golf clubs in it. And so if anyone doesn't know, if you do, I apologize. But if you don't know, when you fly with golf clubs, they make you take it to an oversized area, which is just across the way in Orlando.
Sure.
But this gentleman had to take his stepladder to oversize, and
He
watched
did,
it.
yes. Even though it was smaller than anything that we were carting on the plane. I think it was just like, take it over there. The boys at Oversize need a good laugh today. So, yeah. It was, I really want to know the backstory. I'll never get it, but I want to know.
You know
if
what?
there happens to be a listener who has traveled with a 3-foot step ladder, contact us. Give us the backstory of why.
Now, I did have I'm not going to say friend, but I had a colleague who used to travel with a full tool bag. And because of where they were going and specialized tools, and that was kind of really convoluted because they weren't allowed to check it in their regular baggage. They had to take it down to where golf clubs and everything go so they could be, individually scanned or whatever. And without fail, it was always flagged and it was always held back.
Oh, yeah.
And I always said, God, can't you get those tools there? But I guess they were special, like Allen keys and stuff that he was fixing specialized machinery. But I wonder if he had one of those ladders that, like fold down and goes, brrr, each telescoping ladder. Maybe, but
I don't know, but
not
we'll
a step ladder.
Definitely not a $22 step ladder from Walmart. All right. Enjoy that in San Jose.
Dennis, Scott, and Alex, this is my opportunity to thank you for being monthly subscribers.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Paul, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Wade Paul is looking at doing Zydeco. And that's one that you and I should put on our list.
Yeah, that's down in New Orleans.
Yeah.
We know a couple of people that have taken it. I don't think they really enjoyed it much. They said the roads were really rough, and I don't think they appreciated the food.
Yeah.
But no one likes rough roads, but it is Louisiana. No offense to Louisiana, but just like any state, get on those back roads. Who knows what you're going to get because most of them are maintained by the counties.
Right.
But the food, I get where they're coming from. You know what? We didn't really like the food because they do a lot of seafood, crawfish, things like that. So if you're not really into that, that might not be the ride for you. But I love like crawfish and alligator and shrimp and all that kind of thing.
Last thing I have on our leisure community is Bike Virginia. We were able to establish a contact,
Yep.
and that interview is going to happen. So I'm excited about that. So more on that. You and I are looking at a different ride. It's not Bike Virginia. More on that.
We're
And
going to
so
make the big announcement next episode of our next ride this summer.
that's right. That's
This will
right.
be a good one. So
I'm excited about it. I believe that is all I have from our leisure community. I've gone through my list. I think without fail, it is now time that we give the listeners what they really enjoy, which is Listener Spotlight.
all right, our last episode. Let me give you the hints or the clues. This city brought the luxury of train travel to the road. You could say the U.S. was born here. Transportation was changed forever due to an invention in this city. And this city saw the creation of a candy which bears its name.
Well, I want to tell you that I believe that we had a guess.
There is no candy bar called the St. Louis.
I know. But there, the candy bar, just side note, you and I had during the summer when we were at Shoreline, was it O. Henry or Henry?
It was O. Henry.
O. Henry.
Yes.
I'd never had one of those, man. Every
good.
now and then I'm like, that was good.
Yes, they are good.
Going back to the guests, I want you to know that Matt Robinson, our good friend,
Matt, not Mark, Matt.
Thank you. Thank you. Finally, Matt, look at that. It only took 20 episodes.
Well,
It's hard to get good help these days.
we get there. Might take us a while, but
He has made a guess.
okay. What's his guess?
York, Pennsylvania.
York, Pennsylvania. Is there a candy named York, Pennsylvania?
York peppermint patty.
Oh, okay. All right. Anybody else?
I don't think so. Now, I don't want to lie. For the first time in many moons, I haven't paid a lot of attention. I've had that project at work. It's killing me. But did you see anything else?
I didn't.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'm just going to say we have one guess, which is York, Pennsylvania. St. Louis, Missouri is out. So the best I have is Matt's.
Okay. Well, Matt, I believe you've guessed many times before. I think you got close a couple of episodes before. But your guess of York, Pennsylvania is right on the money, sir. Congratulations.
Whoa, nice.
That's right. Okay.
Wait.
Simmer
This is
down.
really special. So, Matt, not only did he call you by the right name, and he congratulated you for guessing correctly. Ladies and gentlemen, the listeners of York, Pennsylvania, thank you. Thank you all listeners, but especially this episode, York, Pennsylvania. Give us the rundown.
Okay.
Sir.
The city brought the luxury of train travel to the road with the creation of what was called the Pullman car. And if anybody knows anything about railroads back in the early days, there was cars called the Pullman cars. It was a big rail car company, and they were well known for creating very high-end, very luxurious type of train cars. In fact, if you watch a lot of the Westerns and things like that, you see the rich guys sitting in these big fancy cars. Those were typically like Pullman cars. And the Pullman car just really reflected the quality in the of a luxurious rail coach made by the Pullman Company. You can say the U.S. was born here. This is a fun one. Did you know that York, Pennsylvania is considered by many people to be one of several U.S. capitals?
Really?
Yes, sir. First one was Pennsylvania, and then it was Baltimore, and then it was Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and then it was York, Pennsylvania. And I think if you start looking at this, you'll realize A lot of this had to do with during the Revolution, the Continental Congress had to move due to advances of the English or the British Army. So, and actually, it's funny because Lancaster, Pennsylvania, was the official capital of the United States during the Revolution for one day.
Huh.
The Continental Congress was passing through, and they stayed there for one day. And so, technically, it's kind of like Air Force One. Whatever plane the president's on is, Air Force One. I guess that's kind of how this worked. But what's interesting is while the Continental Congress was in York, they drafted the Articles of Confederation, and those documents were in fact adopted there. And that's really the first legal document in U.S. history that refers to the colonies as the United States.
Gotcha.
So, transportation was changed forever. You'll love this one. Due to an invention in that city, 1831. The first successful coal-burning locomotive was invented. Now, we're not big into coal burning, how we're kind of getting away from that. But back then, that was a big thing. And I think the last one is pretty easy. The city saw the creation of a candy which bears its name. York peppermint patties were created in York, Pennsylvania.
All right.
Now, I figured the first immediate thing people were going to think Hershey, Pennsylvania. And then I think the second immediate thing out of your mind was going to be Charleston Chews. So,
which we saw in the airport, and I told you should freeze it and slam it on the counter.
But I didn't have a freezer. So,
but you could have bought it, put it in your bag, and then when you got home, put it in the freezer.
You realize I don't live like out in the middle of I live in the middle of nowhere, but we get like Charleston Chews and things. We can get those at our local convenience store. I mean, I live out west, but out west isn't like in the 1880s when out west was, we're right on the edge of nothing. Okay, just move on. No, we don't need to hear your comment. Go. I can just see where this is going.
How many stoplights are in your town?
Oh, we've added one. We're now up to 4. And they added one over by the schools now. So, it's better for the kids crossing the streets and stuff like that. Put in some nice crosswalks.
Excellent.
So we've moved up from a 3 stoplight town to a 4 stoplight town. We're on the move, man. Things are happening in this town like you wouldn't believe.
Got $14 stores, 4 stoplights.
And road construction that's been happening on my road for almost 5 weeks now, and there's only been 1 week of work done.
Now, when
they started the week before Christmas, they worked the full week, and then after that, they haven't shown up, and they closed the road.
So we are talking the road where the travel
Rogers.
agents. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
So.
Okay. Well,
this is what happens when I'm no longer on the Zoning and Planning Commission. Apparently. Really, that had nothing to do with it, but it sounds good.
I have no dog in this fight. If you've ever driven in Michigan, you don't have a car left by the time you're done. It fall in a pothole, you'll never see the car again. So
that's why I always rent a car when I go to Michigan.
I don't blame you one
bit.
Beat
the crap out of, Avis's car, not mine.
Well,
anyway.
Thank you for Listener Spotlight.
Thank you, York, Pennsylvania.
So we've got something exciting tonight. We are recording on the night of the release of the Ragbri annual route. The logo is cool. It's calling Take Flight. We are going to be live streaming our first actual live stream of an event. We'll see how it goes. If it doesn't go well, oh well, we tried. And but we're going to give it our best effort, and we feel as though the testing that we've done, we should be able to follow along with the route release. We have chosen, once again, not to attend Ragbri this year. We're trying to do some other stuff, and we can talk about that on the next show. But since we happen to be a cycling and leisure podcast, we are definitely branching in more of the leisure lifestyle and different items, and hoping that I can spend some time and look at our footage from our golf and see if we can't find some funny voice clips. I'll be looking at that. But the cycling is where it obviously the friendship bonded, and so we felt that with the biggest ride is that we would pay attention. add some commentary, whether it's like, oh, it's going right back to, Ankeny or whatever. So,
And
um,
we've got a lot of friends who are riding it, and a lot of team members
yep.
and things. So, we just because we're not riding it doesn't mean we shouldn't talk about it and discuss it. And yeah,
I missed something earlier.
I don't
We're going
doubt
to
it.
get into your escalator story, but
We can.
I want to give our friend, our artist, BrianLeeFritz.com,
Oh yes.
BrianLeeFritz.com, BrianLeeFritz.com. Brian is an extremely talented artist. He does bicycles, birds, all kinds of stuff. He's been recently
Cycling Men of Leisure's logo.
Cycling
Don't
Women
forget
of
that.
Leisure's
That's
logo.
right. Good
Uh,
job.
our newest logo that he just designed for us, not but 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago,
Oh,
of
for the
the
podcast.
for the podcast. So
Yeah.
those of you who don't know, we had the logo first, then we had the podcast, and then the ladies, and we kind of overshadowed the actual logo for the podcast, and so uh, we called him up, and he definitely helped us out. So, but that being said, last year we did a little ride in Michigan called Shoreline.
Yes, we did.
Our friend Joe is signed up for Shoreline this year, and Brian, being that that we were talking about his art and everything, he showed us a sneak peek behind the scenes of the jersey for Shoreline this year. And I got to tell
Oh,
you,
it looks sharp.
if you are looking to do Shoreline, this is a bad jersey. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for anyone doing Shoreline. Um, some of the Shoreline was absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Oh
And
yeah.
tunnel of trees and all that area, and Traverse City.
Traverse City.
Unfortunately, it rained our last day, but we made the best of it. And
Yeah, it rained a lot.
but definitely looking forward to that. And if you're thinking about it, let me just tell you, this year's jersey it's it's awesome. So
It's a great jersey. I would probably say it's in my top 5 of best looking jerseys I've seen.
it's definitely cool. I
It's good.
definitely agree. I I'm like, even though I know I'm not
Yeah.
doing that right,
Can I get the
somehow
jersey?
can I tell Neil I need
Hey, I never got a jersey last year. Can I get a jersey this year?
that's right. You were supposed to. You were
I
supposed to
know,
get
and
it
there
at
was a
Snafu.
snafu in the technology, and yeah, but Brian did do the jersey last year.
Yeah.
Very nice jersey. Last year it was
Mackinac Bridge
yeah,
and
it was Mackinac Bridge. It was kind of abstract, kind of I guess kind of abstract. I won't say. I mean, we're not talking super abstract, but I mean, it was just kind of mild. It was there, that type of thing. I would say this year's is dynamic.
I do too.
It's yeah, full of. I mean, you look at it and you can feel the motion, and yeah, it's just really good. Good job, Brian. Keep it up.
The last piece of our leisure community you're going to be surprised at.
Am I?
Yes, because it's you.
Oh dear.
Oh no. I like your new accessory.
Oh, okay. I was like, where's he going with this?
No, no, no. I am staring. Yes. If you watch us on YouTube or you choose to just log in to see this, you, sir, have got a new toy.
I do. You've been upgrading greatly on your home studio. I really have not. I've kind of stuck with what I started with. But due to podcast 2025, I bought myself a new Shure microphone, and it's even got the little light up thing here. And then you know what the beautiful thing is? Too bad this doesn't work on you, but I can just touch.
Oh my gosh, he's muted.
Look at
Finally.
that. But now you can. So
That's pretty cool.
I wish I could touch that and mute you, but it doesn't work that way. So, but it's a.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize. Mr. Sharp thinks that he can control the situation, but no, no, no.
You've seen my household. I don't control anything. Come on. But no, it's a great mic. It sounds good. I'm really happy with it. So
It looks pretty cool.
thank you.
Definitely check that out on YouTube. You'll see a new edition. Let's get into your escalator experience, or it makes me think of Guns N' Roses when they had the spaghetti incident. Let's talk about the
Or
escalator
are
incident.
are you going to tell about the your story or the real story?
I
Because
think
I mean, let's
I
just tell them
think
about the alligator story. Because let's be honest, I know you're a little ashamed. I had to save your life playing golf when the alligator attacked, tore up my leg a little bit.
ladies and gentlemen, that's what he would like to think. We decided that we were going to go to a restaurant called the Edison. It is like a speakeasy, kind of like steampunk whiskey and bourbon bar. And we parked.
Great place. If you haven't been
Great
there,
place, great
yeah.
place. And we parked the car. We got out, and we started going down the escalator.
Now let's say first,
Yes.
if you've ever been to Disney Springs, you know you park in the parking garage, and to get into the Disney Springs area, they have security. So you have to go through security, and it was raining that day. So there was wet shoes and wet stuff. And even though the escalators are covered, everything still had water on it. So
True. And
let's
in your
start with that.
defense, it was definitely slippery. So we went through security. We turned the corner. We go down the escalator, which I believe you, by the way, but you claim that you normally don't do the escalator. You
I
normally take
normally
the
don't.
stair.
No, normally I take the stairs.
So
Because
all I
yeah.
know is I'm in front of you. So if you're visualizing this, there are two gentlemen on an escalator. I am first, and I'm going down, and all of a sudden I get kicked in like the back of my leg and my shin, and I'm thinking to myself, what the heck's going on? Because I never in a million years thought that you had fallen. I just thought maybe something else had happened. Well, next thing I look down, you've got your arm. I promise you, I thought you broke your arm, but you've got your arm bent backwards. You're holding it backwards, and I don't know which arm it was. I'm this one, right?
It was the left.
Left, and you're holding it, and I'm
Still
thinking,
got some.
oh yeah, and I'm like, did you break your arm? And now we're trying to have this small, quick conversation. You're like, I don't think so.
No. You're trying to have a small, quick conversation. I was still trying to figure out what the heck had happened.
Well, my concern was all of a sudden the brain kicks in. I understand that sometimes I'm not the sharpest bulb in the tree, but I do look down and I'm realizing we are running out of time because
running out of
escalator space, and that you're going to come to the bottom. And I just picture like you rolling or
I'm like a hot dog on the little rollers.
That's right.
I just start doing that, and people just start tripping over me. Yeah,
That's
it could have been bad.
But then, if you've seen some of these TMZ stories, people recently have had legs amputated. There's a guy in Asia who was on one of the walkways, moving walkway, escalator, and he got his shoe caught because he was on his phone, and then it took his toe in, and he had to amputate right there. And I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm like, first I said, is your arm broken? And you're like, I don't think so. I'm like, what happened? You're like, I just shifted my weight. I don't know. And then I realized we got like 7 sections of escalator before you're going to meet your demise. And I'm like, bro, you got to get up. I go, you got to get up. And so you do get up, and you kind of move over to the wall, and everybody's staring at you, which I felt bad. And so a security guard comes down, and wonderful gentleman, barely spoke English. I felt bad for him, but he said, all I understood is medical attention. And at the time, you still got your arm bent backwards. And I'm like, yeah, we need some medical attention. I'm thinking they're going to send over like,
I thought there would be like
the first
Disney Springs. They would have like a EMT who was also like a security person.
Exactly.
And they would have like the big bag. They would come running over, and
we're waiting.
And I'm bleeding.
You're bleeding. I mean, you look like you've been bit by an alligator. You weren't joking about it.
It tore up my leg, literally, and it looks like claws of an alligator or a tiger just like went down.
Well, I'm sure you've all been on an escalator, and an escalator's got ridges,
little sharp teeth. Yeah,
sharp teeth. Well, guess what it does to skin with Mr. Sharp? it took your skin with it. So we're waiting there, and a part of us is like, we're both thinking that they're going to send like the community paramedic over or something, the Disney Springs paramedic or whatever. and we're
Comes over
waiting,
in the
we're
little
waiting.
mouse ears.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm here to help you. So and but all of a sudden we turn the corner and we
Oh
look.
my God.
This is a full striker stretcher. 2 women from the fire department who are carrying. I mean, they're bringing the full deal, and you go, "Oh God."
Yeah, the full stretcher. Both of them had the big bags on the stretcher. The other lady had another satchel thing on. They're coming rolling over there. I mean, we got defibrillator paddles and stuff to take off fingers and tracheotomy and everything. And it's just like, oh boy, like not everybody wasn't already staring at me. Now everybody, I'm giving everybody coming down the escalators a show.
But you know what? That woman was fantastic.
She was.
She said, "Why don't we go over here?" It was still raining. And so
It was
she said, "Why
misting,
don't we
yeah.
go over here?" And she took you like to a more private area. Um, and then all of a sudden, so
Oh my God.
you're getting the medical attention that you need.
Yeah.
And I look up, and I think I'm a pretty observant guy. I mean, I know how to look around, and I look at him behind me, and I realize there's 1 police officer. And then there's 2 police officers.
And these aren't Disney security anymore.
Mm-mm.
These are Orlando police officers.
And then I look up, and if you've ever been to Disney, you can picture the management. They've got their blue badge with their lanyard around their neck. They've got dress
name
pants
tag.
on and a dress shirt, and they've got the pincher thing to pick up garbage.
And they got the walkie-talkie thing.
Walkie-talkie. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
I look up and I see her, and she's like, she's chomping at the bit to talk to you. She's afraid that you've already called the lawyer. You've already been settling for more
Call
Disney
my
points.
attorney. I'm not settling for anything less than
So they come to talk to you, and with everything going on, I don't know if you remember this. And if you do, I apologize. But the fire department's like, "Can you get out of here?
Yeah.
I'm not done with him yet." So
I remember she was like, "Can you just not do this right now? I'm still trying to treat him."
Yeah.
And she just took command of the situation. Is like,
because they were
I
asking
appreciate.
your room number, what resort you were staying at. Did you want a wheelchair? Did you want this? And I know don't get me wrong, liability.
I get exactly what they were doing. Absolutely,
we know what they were coming from. By the way, they had you on AI camera the rest of the day. They were watching your every move. There's no doubt in my mind.
Oh yeah, they were taking video, getting still. I mean, they were getting everything ready. So when they got a call from my attorney, they were like, "Okay, we've been expecting you. Yes, we remember Mr. Sharp. They were putting together a full legal dossier on me because, honestly, 9 times out of 10, somebody's in that situation. They're going to try to sue them, even just from the fact that we're going to sue them for $1 million and we're going to make it worse than it is. And they're going to settle for 35,000 and we're going to be happy with that. So I get it. Now, I'm not that kind of guy.
Mm-mm.
I was on the elevator. I shifted my weight from my right foot to my left foot. It was slick.
He meant
I
escalator.
fell. What's that?
You meant escalator.
Escalator, yes. I slipped. I fell. It's an accident. I'm the type of guy that believes accidents happen. And, oh, well, there was some water on there or some dampness. Well, yeah, it's raining outside and you're in an outside venue. I mean, that part's covered up, but what are they going to do? Have everybody like dry off their shoes? I mean, it's an accident. It's nobody's fault. If it's anybody's fault, it's my fault for not being more careful, holding onto the rails. So I wasn't going to sue him. But boy, let me tell you, time it was all over, there was 2 security guards, 2 full-time police officers, Disney management, 2 like county EMT people. It was crazy.
Well,
the only thing I regret out of that is the management from Disney Springs was like, "Oh, do you need a wheelchair?" And the guy came rolling over. It's like, "No, I don't need one." I should have said,
I'm sorry, you were going to say something?
"Yes, I do." Adam will push me around all day. And made you just push me around Disney Springs.
Oh, I would have pushed you all right.
Oh, yeah. I ended up in the little pond, the little creek thing, off the bridge.
Well, listen, I'm happy that nothing was broken. I know that since we you showed me a picture of it afterwards, you definitely were in some pain. It did look like even your family thought you told your family it was an alligator, and they're like, "Seriously?" So
Oh, I totally told him it was an alligator because we did see alligators on the golf course, and I took and had sent I sent pictures, and they're like, "It's not an alligator." It's like, "Yeah, we saw them golfing," and they're like, "You just made that up," and I was like, "No, look in the picture, you can clearly see the greens in the background. This is on the golf course. There was alligators, so I got him convinced that I was attacked by an alligator. But your wife said it; she thought it was broken.
she did.
She's a nurse; she sees it. When my wife saw it, she works also. She's not a nurse, but she works in healthcare. She's like, "Are you sure you didn't break it?" So everybody looking at it thought I had broke because it swelled up. It was heavily bruised, but I haven't had any problem with it. I mean, as
Good.
long as sometimes occasionally I'll rub the outside, and even though I've got it bandaged, it'll hurt a little there, but
Yeah.
I think I'm fine. So and Disney, just so you know, my lawyer is not going to be contacting you, so you're safe.
Okay, that is recorded here currently.
Yes,
The
yeah,
current time is 8:31 Eastern, 7:31 Central. So, um, well, listen, it was a great trip. We learned a lot.
did.
Had a good time. We also learned a lot. A small side note of taking the full studio on the road. Learned some stuff there, so that was good learning experience.
We did.
In traditional fashion, our old team name was Team Sherpa.
Mm-hmm.
I once again took too much stuff.
You needed a Sherpa to
Oh my
haul all
gosh,
that stuff.
you're not lying. But I've got a new plan for the next time, and so it was a good learning experience.
Good.
But that being said, I would love to ask you: Are you prepared for another listener spotlight?
You know I am. I am. Are
Let's
you prepared?
let's have it.
Okay. This community is, like several that we've had, is in a state that it did not start out in.
Hmm.
The major industry that drove the town's development was mining and railroads.
Okay.
The community during the Civil War supported the Confederacy. So that should be giving you some location, some part of the country. Here's a good one. If you are a Bulls basketball fan, Chicago, you can thank this town for its small contribution to the team's success in the mid 80s and 90s, through the mid 90s. And here's one. The name of the town is in reference to a Revolutionary battle. This is the one you're going to like. They once had a sports team that would make you want to have a drink of bourbon.
I don't know what it is, but I already love it.
So there we go.
Well, in that case, I appreciate you providing those clues. Reach out. Oh, go ahead.
I got one more thing.
Okay.
I'm just going to throw it out now. My prediction for Ragbri, Council Bluffs to Dubuque.
There you have it. And by the way, I promise you, we are logging on in 10 minutes. So he is saying that before it is announced. You have my
Yes.
word. Always great to get together with you.
Mhm.
We're going to jump over here on this live stream. But that being said, I believe we have another great show for all of you who take your time and you listen. Our audience, we love you. We thank
Thank you.
And we hope you have a great day.
And remember,
yes,
today is a great day for bike ride.
well, maybe by you it is, but not by me. I'm just kidding. And it's a great day for a virtual bike ride. I've been back on Zwift. So
Good.
if you're on Zwift, check me out. So everybody have a great day.
See ya.